How's it going, guys? This is MSZ, and the new Premier League season is just 3 days away from kicking off, and I thought now would be a good time to make my personal predictions. Now, this is part of a collaboration video between me, Simsve, Forever Wolves, and Telex. These guys will also be making their own personal predictions for the upcoming season, so I've linked their channels in the description down below, and be sure to head over to their channels and check their predictions out as well. What we're gonna be doing is that at the end of the season, we'll take a look at each of our predictions and see who had the best predictions amongst us, and the winner will get a prize that is yet to be decided. So yeah, be sure to take a look at their prediction videos as well, and let me know what you guys predict in the comment section down below. With that being said, let's get right into my personal predictions. In 20th position, I think it is gonna be Huddersfield Town. They are a newly promoted side, but believe it or not, they promoted to the Premier League with a negative goal difference, so their defense is definitely a liability. They have made a significant amount of signings, however, but none of these players have actually proven themselves on the level of the Premier League. I think they would definitely be going back into the Championship after just one season. Now in 19th spot, I think it's gonna be Swansea City. I've kind of viewed Swansea as the Sunderland for the past few seasons. Sure, they've been up for quite a few seasons now, but they've looked way too poor to deserve it, in my opinion. In the past 3 seasons, they have actually steadily declined in terms of league standings. In 14-15 season, they were 8th, then they finished 12th, and then in 15th spot. I think this will be the season where they eventually get relegated. Now moving on to 18th spot, I think it is gonna be Burnley. They managed to surprise everyone by staying up last season, but looking at the statistics, it does not seem too good for the future of this club. Burnley managed remarkable success at home last season, but it's unlikely that they'll repeat that feat once again. Combine that with the fact that their away form is incredibly poor, and it's tough to see this team stay up for another season. With that being said, these are the predictions for the remaining teams that I think will finish in the bottom half. Southampton in 17th, Crystal Palace in 16th, Brighton and Hove Albion in 15th, Watford in 14th, Bournemouth in 13th, in 12th will be West Brom, 11th is Stoke City, and 10th is Leicester City. Yes, Southampton is 17th while Brighton is 15th. Now this might look like controversial decisions, but honestly Brighton's journey back to the top flight has been quite remarkable. They have a decent stadium, a decent team, a manager who knows what he's doing, and the team has a lot of confidence too. Meanwhile, Southampton has been involved in a lot of unwanted business lately. Firstly, they accused Liverpool of illegally contacting with Van Dijk, only for investigations to come to a halt, as report came out that Liverpool did get permission to speak to him from the previous windows on 2 separate occasions, and just days after the reports became public, the manager gets sacked. Honestly, it seems like Poole probably sabotaged his own club while giving up the information of the tapping up incidents, so that probably angered the owners to the point that they actually sacked him, but who knows what actually happened behind the scenes. As of now, Van Dijk is on the transfer list after handing in a transfer request, so high chance of him being sold to either Liverpool or Chelsea, and the player does not want to play for the team, so this will be a weakness for Southampton in the next season. And the rumors from reliable sources also claim that there are 2 other essential players that actually want out of this club. Also, Leicester City is 10th in my predictions. I think after last season, a mid-table finish is, enough to satisfy their fans. Also, another talking point is Crystal Palace. Last season, they had an amazing run of form after Sam Allardyce got appointed, and they loaned Sacco, but guess what? Going into this season, they've got neither of them in their side. They appointed a new manager, Frank de Boer, who's only made one signing so far. His tactics are completely different from Allardyce, so I think without new players that actually fit into his style of play, Palace would probably suffer quite a bit, and I think they will edge out of the relegation spots, but only just. Now let's talk about the spots 9th to 7th. In 9th spot, I think Newcastle United, and in 8th, I think it will be West Ham, while 7th will be Everton. Now, I'm really excited for Newcastle considering they've got Rafa Benitez as their manager, and as a Liverpool fan, I really respect him. He's got the experience in not just the Premier League but also the Champions League, and he took Newcastle back to the Prem in his first season in charge, and it feels like even God wants Newcastle to win matches. As for West Ham and Everton, I think both sets of fans would be really happy with these finishes. Both teams have made significant amount of signings in this transfer window, and I think the transfer window has been a success for both these sides. Everton got Wayne Rooney back in their side, while West Ham actually has Joe Hart. So yeah, these are my predictions until 6th spot. But moving on to the top 6, I think Spurs will be finishing this season in the 6th position. They did have a great season last year, but now they'll be playing at Wembley, and we all know what happens to teams when they play at Wembley. I mean, Spurs themselves proved that when they played the Champions League matches in Wembley, it just does not work out. I guess they're just not used to it, and strange thing is that they have made 0 signings in this transfer window. It's really strange because they will be contending for the title once again, and not signing a player is risky in my opinion. But moving on to the 5th spot, I think it's gonna be Chelsea. Last season was a stellar one for them with the implementation of the 3-4-3 formation by Conte that rocked the entire league. But going into his 2nd season in charge, things are not looking too good for Conte. They've actually lost 2 games in a row in the FA Cup and the Community Shield against Arsenal. And now that the managers in the Premier League know about Conte's tactics, it will be interesting to see how Chelsea fare this season. Also, they've got Champions League football this year, and we have seen Chelsea suffer a second season syndrome, especially for the managers. After they gained domestic success in the first season, we saw that with Roberto Di Matteo, I guess, and also in the most recent case was Jose Mourinho. I really don't know why it happens. I guess it's just a curse, but yeah, maybe Conte might get sacked midway through the season, or he might recover. I mean, after all, we all know that it took 2 losses for Chelsea to actually get a run of form where they literally went undefeated for like an entire year or something. But yeah, who knows what will happen. But I'm predicting that 5th spot will be Chelsea's spot. But moving on to 4th, I'm predicting that it will be Liverpool. Yes, I'm predicting that for the 2nd time in a row they will be finishing 4th. And to be honest, as a Liverpool fan myself, I think I would be satisfied with that, considering the transfer window so far has been pretty frustrating. It might be worsened if they sell Coutinho, but I'm confident that they won't. At the time of making this video, Liverpool just rejected a 2nd bid from Barca, which is like 90 million pounds, I think. But I think Liverpool do need to make just one more signing at least for the centre back position. Obviously Virgil van Dijk is a top target, but I kind of think that Liverpool have lost their interest in him right now. They might even get Naby Keita. I mean, it looks like RB Leipzig are preparing for the next season without Keita in their plans, but you never know, considering the board of directors for Liverpool are pretty incompetent when it comes to transfer business. But they have got Salah this year, and Solanke looks to be lighting up the club so far. So it might be a good season attacking wise, but defense still might be a liability. But at least one thing is for sure, that this season they won't be heavily reliant on money anymore, because they've got Salah. It just gives them that extra flexibility for attack. But moving on to the third position, I think it will be Arsenal. Their preseason has looked great, and now that they've finally got Lacazette, who could possibly get himself 20-30 goals this season, it's looking really good for them. Obviously, one big talking point has to be whether or not they can hold on to Alexis Sanchez, but I think they will hold on to him from the looks of things right now. He said that he will just see out his contract, and I think his contract runs out till the end of next season, so yeah, he's probably staying. So that's great for Arsenal, and Wenger seems to have got his tactics right so far. So I think a third spot finish will be pretty satisfying for them. But moving on to the top two, you probably guessed it, it's gonna be the two Manchester clubs. In second position, I'm predicting that it will be Manchester United, and of course in first, that means it will be City. Honestly, I think either sides can win it this year. With United, Pogba seems to have found his group. Lukaku fits into the team really well, and the team is, really popping so far. Of course, they did lose the UEFA Super Cup, but I mean, they're playing against Real Madrid, so that was no big surprise. But this year, I think Jose Mourinho has found the perfect tactics as well, so I think they will be a serious title contender. But yeah, looking at the first spot, Manchester City, I mean, they've got so much money that it's literally impossible to compete with them. I mean, look at the signings that they've made. Benjamin Mendy, Ederson, Kyle Walker. I mean, Kyle Walker is a big talking point because it's not just a big signing, but they've also hampered Spurs, who are a rival to them. So this is a big season for Pep Guardiola and Man City. Second season for Pep, of course, which means that he will have gotten more experience, and he's more used to the Premier League now. And I think he will be a little bit less stressed, considering the press conference he gave last season. He looked really nervous for some reason. It felt like he was scared. But yeah, this season is probably gonna be Manchester City's, in my opinion. And they've got such a vast squad thanks to the Arab money, and I think this year they will definitely mount a way better title challenge than last season. So there you go, guys. That was my personal predictions for the 2017-18 season. Obviously, you are gonna disagree with some of my predictions, or perhaps even all of them. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the next season. Who do you think will be relegated? Who do you think will finish in the top 4? Be sure to let me know in the comments section down below. Also, head over to the boys channel and watch their predictions as well. That's gonna be it for this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, thanks for watching.